Hello, I'm Garrett Zavach on ZNN News, and today we're going to talk about old news. Up first is the Renaissance. The Renaissance started in the 1300s and ended towards the end of the 1500s. It was a time of rebirth for Europe. There was very good art created in that time. The Renaissance was a cultural movement in Italy and eventually spread to most of Europe. It is most known for the art constructed during the area. Two of the most famous artists in that time are Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Now to the Blue Band's news group showing an interview with Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo.
And let's all give a warm welcome to our first guest, Leonardo da Vinci.
I'm so glad to be here with everyone.
Let's start with a simple question. When is your birthday?
My birthday is April 15th, 1452.
How was your childhood growing up?
Well, I was born in the town of Vinci. My father is a wealthy man, Piero di Antonio da Vinci. I had no actual surname. Da Vinci just means of Vinci. My full name, which is Leonardo di Sir Piero da Vinci, just means I'm Leonardo, the son of Pierre from Vinci. My father married a 16-year-old that loved me very much, but she died. Then, when I turned 16, he married someone new and was married about 3 or 4 times. On my dad's side alone, I had 9 half-brothers and 2 half-sisters. When I was younger, I studied Latin, geometry, and mathematics, which helped me later in life.
I've heard that you had 17 half-siblings overall. Is this true?
It is true.
And is it also true that your father was an accountant?
Very true.
So it sounds like he was very successful.
Very.
I lived in a sewer and my dad is a rat named Master Splinter.
Who are you?
I'm Leonardo the Turtle. I was named after you and I'm the leader of my group.
That's sweet. I never knew there was a turtle named after me.
Yeah, that's very cool. I never knew that about both of you. Back to the questions. To the human Leonardo. You're a famous painter. What are some of your paintings?
One of my famous paintings is the Mona Lisa. The way I painted her smile. No one can determine the nature of the smile, which is one of the reasons why it is so popular. I started painting in Florence, Italy. After about 4 years, I didn't finish it, and for years I regret it. After I was invited by King Francisco, I the first to work on the close bench near the King's Castle in Amboise. I took the Mona Lisa with me and finished it.
What's another painting or sculpture that you did?
Wow!
I can answer this one. His early works began with the baptism of Christ. Him and Andrea del Rencio painted this together. The painting shows the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist that is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke in the Bible. He painted the angel in the picture. They painted it with oil on wood.
Wow, you actually got almost all the facts right. I also invented, remind you, did not build, but invented the helicopter, bicycle, and scissors.
So Leonardo, not you Leonardo, the famous Leonardo, you were known as a Renaissance man. What exactly does this mean?
As you know, right now we are in the Renaissance. I got the name because it was given to people during this time who have much knowledge and are successful.
Thank you very much, both Leonardos. But talking about Renaissance leads us to the next guest. Let's all welcome Michelangelo. Welcome back from our break. I would like to introduce you all to Michelangelo.
I am very glad to be here today.
When is your birthday, Michelangelo?
Well, I was born on March 6th, 1475.
Nice to know. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
I was born in Caprice. Before I was born, my family were bankers in Florence, but the bank failed. So my father took the government post in Caprice. My family moved back to Florence, which was where I was raised. My mother died when I was 6, so I lived with a family in Skinano, where my family owned a small farm and a marble quarry. As I was younger in Florence, though, I was forced to study grammar. I didn't have any interests in school. I would rather copy church paintings and seek company from painters.
Leonardo's told us what it meant to be called the Renaissance Man. Isn't that one of your nicknames as well?
Yes, it is.
Who are you?
I'm Michelangelo the Turtle. I'm named after you, and I have 3 brothers named after artists. My brother Leonardo was on here earlier today.
Wow, it's cool knowing I have a turtle named after me.
I hope there will be no more interruptions. Michelangelo, can you tell us about your paintings on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel?
Yes, it took me about 4 years to complete the painting of the ceiling. They wanted me to paint the 12 apostles, which in ornament in the middle, but I wanted to do something more complex. So I asked the Pope. I decided I would be representing the creation, the fall of men, the promise of salvation through the prophets, and the genealogy of Christ. I painted 9 episodes from the book of Genies, which continued over 300 figures and over 500 meters of ceiling.
That is very impressive.
I agree. What is another painting that you did?
I'm going to tell you about a sculpture instead. One of my earlier works was Madonna and Child. It was carved in shallow relief.
My brother, who is named after Donatello, told me that Donatello sculpted in shallow relief.
That is true, but as I was saying, Madonna and Child shows the Virgin proudly presenting her son. One of my painting characteristics is twisted motive, which was developed from the sculpture.
Thank you very much, Michelangelo, for coming here today and sharing all these interesting facts.
Don't forget about me.
Thank you too.
You're welcome.
Well, that is all we have today. Have a nice day.
That was an interesting couple of interviews. I was not aware that Leonardo da Vinci dissected animals. He was a genius with all of his creations. Now we have another interview with 2 more Renaissance artists, Titian and Andrea Solari.
Hello, Bob Bill here along with Titian Vasilio.
Hello, Bob. It's an honor to be here.
So Titian, tell me a little about your early life.
Well, Bob, no one knows when I was born, but it was around 1477 to 1488 in Pieve di Cadore, Italy. My parents were Gregorio Vaselli and Lucia.
Were your parents and family members known for anything special?
Well, my father was superintendent of the castle of Pieve di Cadore. He also was in charge of local mines.
Okay, did you have any siblings?
I have an older brother named Francesco. Francesco went for artist training with me when I was 9, and I have a sister named Orsa.
Do you have a wife and any kids?
I have a wife named Cecilio and 2 kids named Pomponio and Orzio.
Wow, very interesting. So tell us about your piece, The Allegory of Prudence.
Oh, Bob, this painting actually has a very deep meaning into it. This painting is an oil on canvas depicting 3 animal heads and 3 human heads all facing different directions.
Wow, that's very nice. Can you tell us what the directions that they are facing means?
Yes, I can. The human heads represent the 3 stages of a man's life, young maturity and old age. The animal heads represent the 3 stages of time, past, present, and future.
That's very cool. Thanks for sharing. So tell us about your shade of red, Titian red.
Okay. Well, I can now reveal the secret on how to create it, but as you know, it is a very brightly colored red, and it is my favorite color to use in my paintings.
Oh, okay, very cool. So I know you make many religious paintings. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I am a Catholic, so I love to make religious paintings.
Yes, I heard you made this painting.
Yes, I painted this image in a church called the Santa Maria Gloriosa. It is the largest altarpiece in the city.
How tall is it?
It is around 22 feet tall and 10 feet across.
Wow, that's very impressive. What's it about, and what colors did you use?
Well, as you know, I love to use bright colors.
Yes, I noticed you used the Titian red.
Yes, I also use some dark greens and some blues.
It is very nice. Also, the background has a nice yellow and orange cloud.
Yes, I also like that part a lot. And the painting depicts Mary, God, the apostles, and many other angels.
Another famous religious painting of yours is this.
Yeah, this painting is a Roman rite of worship in honor of the gods. This painting also took me a year to finish.
Could you tell us what is happening in this painting?
Well, there's a woman with a mirror in her right hand with other ladies offering her gifts, and she's surrounded by male babies. These babies are doing activities such as climbing trees, gathering apples, leaping, flying. In the background of this painting, there's a nice blue sky and some trees.
It's a very nice painting. I really love the colors you use.
I too like the colors.
Okay, very nice. Could you talk about this piece? It is one of my personal favorites.
Yes, this is another one of my favorite paintings. I made this in 1575. It's another oil on canvas. It has a boy and his dog, and he's protecting his dogs from the burning city behind him. I like the colors and type of style used in this painting. It took me about a year to finish.
I like the color you use in the boy's shirt.
That's also one of my favorite colors as well.
What are some of your favorite colors you use in your paintings?
I often use a mixture of greens, blues, browns, and reds. I really like to use red and brown.
Okay, so who are some of your favorite painters?
I really like to work with this painter named Jojorian.
So tell us about Jojorian.
He is my favorite painter. I love his style and I use it in many paintings.
Have you ever worked with Jojorian?
Actually, he started a painting and I finished it called Sleeping Venus. We have worked on many things together and he's a big inspiration for me. Unfortunately, he died in 1510.
Speaking of death, how do you feel about the plague?
Oh, I don't worry about it too much.
Okay, thanks, Tishan. That's all the time we have for today. Back to you.
I am Ricky Zalewski. Let's all give a warm welcome to Andrea Solari.
What's up? I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing alright. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good. Tired, but hanging in there. Thank you. Can you tell me a little about yourself?
Well, I was born in Milan, Italy in 1460. I'm a popular painter and I've made 15 famous paintings.
Do you have any family members that are royal?
My brother wasn't really royal, but he's the reason why I'm painting. He helped me get into painting. His name was Christophorus. He died in 1527. I was kind of crushed about his passing, so I figured I could at least do what he loved doing. You know, living on the dream that he didn't get to live. Luckily, he gave me early training.
I'm sorry for your loss. Do you think you wouldn't have been painting if it wasn't for your brother Christophorus?
I've always had love for painting. I just think I'm much better because of him. Because he was more experienced. He gave me motivation. You feel me?
I feel you, but where can we find your paintings?
Actually, you can find some of them in Venus, Milan, at the Lavore and the Chateau de Gale.
What is your most famous painting?
My most famous painting and my low-key favorite painting was the Virgin of the Green Cushion. It was the most sold painting ever.
I believe this is the painting, correct?
Yes, that's one of the paintings you can find at the Lavore.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
How big is this painting?
When I originally painted it, it was 30 by 25.
So what school did you attend?
I'm a painter at the Milanese School.
Wow, that's what's up. Do you have a wife? If so, what's the lucky lady's name?
Nope, I was never married. I'm single as Pringle.
Do you have any children?
No, I don't have any children.
What's your favorite color you used on your paintings?
Shaded dark green, and I like that color because it's the color of nature.
That's a very nice color. Tell us about another painting you have.
This painting is called Man with the Pink Carnation.
Wow, very interesting.
Yes! I painted this painting in London. In this painting, the pink carnation or flower for the people with limited vocabulary, and the young man's hand is likely a symbol for a childhood.
Ah, very nice.
It's one of my favorite paintings.
I see, that's a nice color.
It's one of my favorite colors. This is another one of my paintings I've constructed.
I like the colors in the background. Where can we find this painting?
This painting can be found in London, England.
Well, I think it's very interesting and creative. Alright, that's all the time we have today. Thanks,
Okay.
Andrea.
Oh, my pleasure.
That was 2 well-done interviews. I didn't know that Titian created his own shade of red. Well, now we're going to move on to the next era, the Reformation. The Reformation was the time of, reforming. The era lasted from 1517 to 1648. Martin Luther tried reforming the Roman Catholic Church. Martin did not like the way the Pope ran the church. Team Reformers is going to have an interview with Henry VIII. He was the King of England during the time. Now to the Reformers. Hello, this is Gareth Vach reporting to you live from CNN News from England with some breaking news on Henry VIII and his wives. Recently, Henry VIII divorced his wife Catherine of Aragon. Catherine got pregnant shortly after they got married. The child was a girl. Therefore, Henry was unhappy about the situation, leading them to their divorce. Anne Boleyn was the second victim, but she was killed by a man that Henry hired from a city in France who was well trained in beheading people. The man had then beheaded Anne.
What are you doing? Stop!
His third victim was Jane Seymour, who died shortly after childbirth. She was the only wife out of the three that gave birth to a son, but due to postnatal complications, she was unable to support herself, and Henry VIII didn't bother her to help her, so she then died. Catherine Howard was the fourth victim of Henry's horrible ideas. Catherine was beheaded by a man who was paid by Henry because she was having an affair with Thomas Culpeper. The victim was Catherine Parr. Catherine did not get executed by Henry. In fact, she simply outlived him. Anne of Cleves was the sixth and final victim of Henry. Henry divorced her for having a daughter and not a son. Henry had the marriage declared never consummated, and she was never crowned queen consort. All along, Henry wanted to have a son so that he could take over the throne and continue his legacy. But who knew that he would go through all the trouble of killing and divorcing just to get a son? Henry had too many wives, a total of 6. The time period after Reformation was the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment had revolutions in science, philosophy, society, and politics. People started changing what they thought about society. It lasted from the 1650s to the 1780s. Now Marquise and I are going to talk about the Enlightenment more in depth.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to a CNN special about the Enlightenment.
The Enlightenment was around the 1650s to the 1780s.
The Enlightenment was focused on these 5 things: reason, nature, happiness, progress, and liberty. Some of these things may be confusing, so we'll help explain some of them.
To start off, we'll talk about reason. Around these times, people started asking why, or what is the reason for that.
This later led to a lot of answers to many questions.
Another one is nature. People believe that there should be natural laws similar to gravity.
An example of this person's natural rights, such as being self-governed.
Another main point on nature is that people shouldn't live on God-given laws.
Basically, people shouldn't have to go out and find their God's script and follow it.
The Enlightenment was also affected by philosophy, expanded education, and people wanted to ask more questions and demand more answers.
Now we'll be showcasing some philosophers that helped grow the Enlightenment, and some basic facts about them.
John was known as the father of classical liberalism.
John Locke was considered as one of the British empresses, following the tradition of Sir Francis Bacon.
He was born on August 29, 1632.
John Locke enjoyed school quite a lot and got his bachelor's degree in 1656 and master's in 1658.
Later, he got a bachelor's in medicine in 1679.
John Locke was also into politics, big time.
Eventually, he fled into the Netherlands in 1679.
An interesting fact is that Locke's political theory was founded on the social contract theory. Then Locke sadly died in 1704.
But his work still continued to influence others. An example would be John Locke's essay concerning human understandings from 1659, which outlines a theory on human knowledge.
Another would be that Locke wrote that, quote, "The little and almost insensible impressions on our tender influences have very important and lasting consequences."
Another philosopher is Cesar Beccaria, and he wrote essays on crime and punishment.
Surprisingly, in the 18th century, most Europeans developed criminal acts.
Caesar influenced these 18th century criminals into proper intellectuals who helped him stop crime. This made a big impact.
And then you have Isaac Newton, who believed that the physical world was like a giant machine. His ideas helped shape the world into what it is today.
Denis Diderot, another philosopher, went to the University of Paris and wanted to be a writer, but his dad thought he was going to work for the church or law.
Denis learned different languages, and he contributed an enlightenment with the Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Science.
He got that dictionary published in 1751 and 1772.
This dictionary helped philosophers all around the world.
All of these things helped shape the world into what it is now, and would not be the same without them.
On that note, thank you for watching this CNN special about the Enlightenment.
We hope you enjoyed.
See you next time. Now the scientific revolution is up. The scientific revolution is a time when all kinds of knowledge started coming out. It was somewhat like the Renaissance, but there really wasn't great art during the time. It was more math and science discoveries. It started in the 17th century. Some people stole dead bodies and sold them to scientists. The scientists would then explore and look inside the bodies to find out more about human bodies. Now over to Teen Dark Matter with a reenactment of grave robbers.
Akash, let's go.
All right, I'm getting the wagon.
Which one is it again?
I'm 99.99% sure it was Jefferson Newell.
Oh, you mean that rich guy that got shot up the nose? Okay, let's take what's on him, and then we will sell the body to Dr. Smith. Okay. Did you hear that? Okay, this place is really freaking me out, okay? Let's just get the body and go.
Are there supposed to be coins on the dead bodies?
I don't know, but I'm pretty happy. Okay. Yeah.
Hello, friends. I see you have brought the specimen, just as I requested. Nice job.
All right, we risked our necks for this. You better have the right amount of coin.
Oh, trust me, I have plenty enough coin. Let me see how much I have. This should be enough, I suppose.
Thank you.
I am very close to discovering new things, wondrous things about the human body and what it's capable of. And you know what? I think you could be my assistant.
What about me?
Oh, yeah. You can be my other assistant.
What will I be doing?
You will have the most important job of all. Well, you get supplies so I can clean out the organs. Also, you will handle the disposal of the body once I'm done with it.
Okay, you sure, boss? Okay, this. Okay. Wow, that is. Wow. Okay, dude, please, let's just get out of this house. That's freaking. Okay, so, what are you gonna do with this body?
Well, it's kind of a secret, but I guess I can tell you a little bit.
Yeah, you should. We got you, buddy, so I guess that makes us entitled.
You promise not to say a word?
We promise.
Good. So, what I'm going to do with the body, I'm going to cut it open so I can learn more about the human body, then harvest the organs, cut the limbs off, and open the skull.
Okay, Dr. Smith?
Yes, my favorite assistant?
Can I use the restroom over there?
Sure. This is a very, very good specimen.
Wow, that smells very.
Hey, what is that? Oh, did they betray me?
Okay, we can explain everything. Okay, wait. Oh gosh, grab the coins, grab the coins.
No. You think you're going to get out of here alive? No, I think I should get out of here myself.
Hey, no, these coins melting. He gave us chocolate coins.
Chocolate coins. Are you serious? He's gonna get what he deserves.
What am I going to do? They called the cops on me.
This is the police. Open the door before I break it down.
Never! Get away, Papa. I'll use this if I have to.
I've been informed that you have a body in your house.
Auntie, what are you talking about?
Will it be okay if I search the place?
No!
Hey, what is that? Well, this has been Garrett Zavach on ZNN News. Have a nice day.